What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Fanatic Journey. So today is another red day. I'm going to break that down for you, why we're going down as much as we are. Also, I want to go over some technicals. Technicals have really been driving Lucid's movement lately, up and down, so I'm going to talk about that. Also, I just want to talk generally. Is the market broken? When is Lucid actually going to recover? Is it ever going to recover? That's what a lot of people are now talking about, especially now the feds are talking about interest rates and everything like that. I'm going to break that down for you as well. But before I get into any of that, all I ask, smash the thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. Don't forget to pop over to my Discord, link in the description below. A lot of good people, a lot of good chat. And with that said, let's get right to it. So when it comes down to it though, just want to show you the live ticker to my left. It is currently down 3.33%, 13.4 million as far as overall volume, 51 million the average, and that is a 6-month average, and 723,000 shares being purchased by institutions and hedge funds just today alone. So that definitely is a lot lower than what we're used to. So that's something for us to keep in mind. And when it comes down to it though, today we are largely down because of the feds on multiple different levels. So at the beginning of the day, there was a lot of higher than expected yields, which ultimately goes back to the feds being very cautious about inflation, about interest rates, everything like that. In addition to recently, there was a Fed meeting. They did reiterate exactly what they said on March the 16th, and that they are going to do increases over the next 6 meetings, couple of which are going to be 50-point increases, which ultimately we already did know. So this is, in my opinion, when it is selling off, this is a great time to buy in, because when they said that news on March the 16th, we already factored it into the market. But you do get a lot of individuals such as Jim Cramer talking about this, saying that you need to hypothetically sell because the market is broken. So there is some points, although I don't agree with Jim Cramer completely about everything, there is one thing that he did point out in here that ultimately did stand out to me. And he said it shouldn't change day by day, because when it comes down to investing in the economy and as far as sectors, everything goes through cycles. We all know that, but it doesn't take day by day changes. So for instance, this week per se, Monday, everyone was buying semiconductors and tech, and those stocks were flying high. And then Tuesday, it changed. You sell that, and then you buy into either pharma or banks or things like that. So it shouldn't change day by day that much. And ultimately, he did say that the market is broken. And this is why he is saying you should get out of stocks. To some degree, I understand what he's getting at. I'm just going to show you this as well. And I refer to this in a lot of videos. This is the largest EVs based on the market cap. Some of which I'm sure you guys are familiar with: Tesla, Lucid, and we are number 2. That's a very strong positive. But looking down here, there's a lot of companies that only have prototypes, and looking here, they are still worth probably more than what they should be in reality. And so this is where a lot of people are saying that the market is broken, because a lot of these companies have huge evaluations when in reality they haven't produced or done anything. Their technology is below par, everything like that, especially considering the feds are going to be increasing the interest rates. And I've said this from the get-go. Ever since they started to talk about interest rates, I said you are going to see a variance. You're going to see a little bit more of a divide even among growth stocks about their balance sheet, such as Lucid. We have more than enough cash to survive in reality, even in a higher interest rate environment. But a lot of other companies, such as Rivian for instance, won't necessarily meet the same expectation or kind of meet those guidelines to survive. They will have to dilute and kill investor confidence, which in reality Rivian is a little bit more killed in general. But this is hands down what is going to hurt the overall economy, and this is why a lot of people, including Jim Cramer, which again is arguable if you actually do want to believe that, is saying that the market is broken. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. So that's ultimately why Lucid is going down, because largely the feds, and then there is those skeptics out there that are ultimately saying to sell everything. So it is what it is. You get those divides, but right now, ever since the Fed meeting did come out, we are rebounding fairly well. So I like that, and at the end of the day, I personally did buy into Lucid today at $22.79. That was at the beginning of the morning. I found that being a extremely amazing price. It might not necessarily be the bottom, but again, if you're watching my channel, you know it is all about the long-term game. This is why I feel hypothetically it could go down a little bit more, and I'm going to talk on a little bit more technicals in that regard. But I think long term, when it is going to be $100, $200, again, I'm going to look back and wish I bought more at this. So this is why I take advantage of these cheap prices and especially buy when I can, because again, it goes back to the long-term game. Because more so as well, I'm sure you guys all watch my channel, I talk about some big catalysts. All big catalysts that's going to be coming from 2024 to 2026. Why on earth would you buy a company right now, worry about so much volatility, and possibly sell at a loss next week? Just be patient. That is the key. Patience is key. Everyone always says that, and that is very true. And especially don't even think about selling before 2024, even to 2026. That is when big things are going to happen for Lucid, and that is where you are going to make a lot of money. But keep in mind though, I am not a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence at the end of the day. But with that, before I get into some technical analysis, I just want to give you some updated information, one of which is short interest, because I like always looking at short interest and using it as a benchmark, because clearly these are the individuals that are contrary to what you believe in. So 20.03 is a short interest, so we are officially over the 20, so that is a very big deal, and that is way too high in my opinion, and it is down roughly about 1.18% from 1 week prior. Utilization is 100%. Day by day change is actually up 0.28%, which works out to be 696,000 shares being additionally shorted, and cost to borrow, despite everything, it's actually going down. 7.29% is the cost to borrow average, so that again, that's a little bit more interesting, the fact that it's gone down pretty much since its high of 47, but yet we are only going up minorly, which goes to show that there might not be so much downside in my opinion. Because when it comes down to it though, I'm going to talk about this when I do technicals, when are we going to have a rebound? I see that a lot in my comments, and I'm always a big fan in investor confidence. You've always heard me say that. I'm just going to show you this as well. So the social sentiment. So in case you ever are looking for a good broker, take a look at Interactive Brokers. Link is in the description below, and also I'm going to put it in the comments as well. But I really like Interactive Brokers, has a lot of good info. But looking at the tweet sentiment score, you see it is actually negative as of right now, and the tweet volume score is actually positive. So I really do like that, especially goes to show that things are actually moving in the right direction. And when it comes down to it though, you can see as far as the negative, it shows the industry average is going down. So overall, people are talking less and less about stocks. Again, goes back to my point about people getting out. When you get big names such as Jim Cramer, or for instance even 𝗪𝗓𝗡𝗏, I don't subscribe to him, but again, he's one of those individuals that did say, sell everything, I'm selling everything, and we are going to go into a big recession. Especially Deutsche Bank did actually even say that there is going to be a big recession that's coming. So it's one of those things, people are starting to talk about sell everything, big recession coming, and people panic, especially more so retail investors. So that is one thing as well to keep in mind. But like I said, just want to talk about some technical analysis. So I have the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic, and momentum. So on a lot of instances, especially since we are going down and have been going down over the last little bit, a lot of the technicals are showing a little bit more bearish. So you can see overall right now, number of buyers is actually down significantly. In fact, we're actually below zero. So it shows that we're losing more buyers than we're gaining. Stochastic is a big deviation. So red line above the black, again, a bearish sentiment. RSI is currently at 41, fairly neutral. And looking on the actual chart, we did break below the higher percentile of the Bollinger Band, so we did transition into the lower. That in reality as well is a little bit more bearish. Again, overall, like I already mentioned, and kind of going into this, there is a lot of bearish signals that's going on, and it's not helping with the Feds as well, but more looking at the Fibonacci. So Fibonacci right now, we did officially yesterday break below that pivot point, very important point. 2175 is the next thing to watch for. Hopefully, again, especially based on the history, we have bounced off of that general area, the S1 or the S2 at the time, and we have trended higher. So that is hopefully something we can do again if that ever does come to it. But at the end of the day, I see this as a great buying opportunity. Sometimes just think long term. But when it comes down to it though, when are we actually going to have a reversal? So hypothetically, I do feel that the fear about interest rates are going to continue. The next meeting is on May. Beginning of May. So I do feel that the fear is going to continue to linger until that time, especially more and more institutions, more big banks are all saying and reiterating there is going to be a recession, blah, 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 everything like that. They aren't necessarily saying sell, but they are saying that a recession, and usually they are referring to the yields as far as interest rates. So I personally feel that fear is going to continue, causing a lot of big equities and big growth stocks such as Lucid to have a lot of downward pressure, a lot of selling pressure. And like I've already pointed out at the very beginning of the video, volume has always been relatively low, in addition to block volume. So less and less institutions are actually getting into Lucid. Again, that is a good key takeaway that you need to know from us as investors. Again, in this channel, I like to give you the good, the bad, the ugly, and sometimes the ugly is ugly. But when it comes down to it, when is Lucid actually going to recover? I personally feel after the next May meeting, because most likely I anticipate that is going to be a 50-point increase, then there is going to be a reversal at that stage. Most likely in that 1 month time period from now until the next meeting, I see us easily, most likely between the S2 and the S1, and that's more so realistic, causing a continuation of a downtrend. Even more reasons why you need to buy. But when it comes down to it, like I even did today, you buy. It might not necessarily be the bottom, but thinking long term, that is where you make the most money. So that's where I'm kind of having that mentality as well. So at the end of the day, that's where I see us most likely leading up to that next meeting. At that stage, I see a little bit more clarity coming from that meeting, and then we should have a nice confirmed rally and more capital getting in, because that's one thing, is everything goes through cycles and should go through cycles, and right now we are just not getting enough capital into Lucid, for instance. And once we do get that new surge of capital, again, that new motivation for investors to get in, once we do also get more investors, you can see momentum indicator to get 10 plus over at that stage around here, that hands down is going to be a massive bullish signal. And when it comes down to it though, I do feel that there is going to be a lot of positives that come from the 13Fs. So especially more so at the beginning to end of April and leading into May as well. More so also around that Fed meeting, there is going to be a lot of big institutions that all are declaring their holdings into Lucid. And I anticipate, even similar to what happened yesterday, institutions are going to be adding big time. So 2,785% up, because when it comes down to Lucid, we all know it has a huge, amazing long game. It has amazing technology, very good growth plans as well. This is why we are investing. This is why we're very interested and continue to be interested in Lucid. But with all that said though, let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. If you haven't already, smash the thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Don't forget to pop over to Interactive Brokers. Link is in the description below and also the comments. So just click on the link, play around. You can see a lot of good information and what is very suitable for you. But with that, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.